Conversations that are hard to have. Nevertheless, they must be had. And this is the case with the Democratic Party. Someone has to tell them the truth. Someone has to openly, honestly, and candidly tell them why they lost this election and what they can do to win again. Tyrone Bowman Live, welcome to the conversation. Welcome to the sit down on tonight. This program is an adult oriented, serious minded program where I bring you events and news articles and things that have already taken place, and I bring a different spin to it, along with personal commentary and analysis. And at the same time, for those of you who have subscribed to this channel, thank you very much for your subscription. All right, now let's get down to it and let's have the conversation tonight. It's a hard one, but it has to be had. According to The Guardian, well, let me just, before I quote tonight's topic, I've been doing a lot of researching and surfing and looking at a lot of the different bloggers and the different writers. And I've been listening to a lot of people, Latinos, black people, and even a lot of the MAGAs talk about why they regret their votes for Donald Trump. Well, to them, I'll put it this way. You can't have buyer's remorse now. You made your decision. You voted for now President-elect Trump. You bought into the ideology. You bought into the racism. You bought into the bigotry. You bought into the anti-Kamala Harris ism as well. So now you can't change your mind. And one thing I will say is that he's going to do everything that he said he's going to do and then some. But for right now, I'm talking about the Democrats on tonight. It's plain and simple. You dropped the ball. And I'm going to tell you where you messed up at and why you let it happen. And the Democratic Party, the National Democratic Committee, y'all cannot run from truth. You're not going to win elections by being elitist. You're not going to win elections by having anti-blackness within your own party. What you do, there are a lot of racists and bigots within the Democratic Party. Somebody has to be bold enough to say it, and I'm going to say it. You've got a lot of racists, a lot of bigots, a lot of Klansmen, and clandestine MAGAites within the Democratic Party. These are the people who sabotaged Campaign Harris's election. So this article says the Democrats must become an anti-establishment party, written by The Guardian. The lesson of this election is that Democrats must attack inequality and not cede working class voters to Trump. A political disaster such as what occurred last Tuesday gains significance not simply by virtue of who won or lost, but through how the election is interpreted. This is known as the lesson of the election. The lesson explains what happened and why. It deciphers the public's mode, values, and thoughts. It attributes credit and blame. And therein lies its power. When the lesson of the election becomes accepted wisdom, when most of the politicians, pundits, and journalists come to believe it, it shapes the future. It determines how parties, candidates, political operatives, and journalists approach coming elections. So what's the election? Or what is the lesson of the 2024 election? According to exit polls, excuse me, my apologies, I'm back. According to exit polls, Americans voted mainly on the economy, and their votes reflected their class and level of education. Let's talk about that. The economy is fine. The only people who voted against Kamala Harris concerning the economy is because you were made to believe that the economy wasn't working for you. In actuality, it's working for you quite well. You were made to believe that she was unqualified to be able to do the job. And the Democratic Party abandoned its own candidate. The Democratic Party did not shelter her. The Democratic Party did not protect her. The Democratic Party did not campaign for her. You had more celebrities campaigning for Vice President Harris than you did black Democratic politicians. You had more celebrities, more actors and actresses. The entertainment industry came out in full force in support of the vice president. Where was the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus? Where were y'all? Because you have become an elitist organization. You don't fight for ordinary, everyday black people. You have your luncheons and your cocktails and your drinks and you go to your parties. But you're not out there fighting for everyday people. That's why it's called the Congressional Black Caucus. You're supposed to be caucusing, fighting for your constituents, fighting for everyday people. Instead of cozying up and trying to get along with your political enemies. Politics is war. Politics is not a kumbaya moment. Politics is not church. Politics is not religion. It is a dirty, vicious game. And just like the Republicans have opposed everything that the Democrats wanted to do, why were you all so eager to work with the Republicans when they weren't eager to work with you? No way in the world should Harris have been thrown into the middle of a political fray with only 2.5 months remaining up until Election Day. That was insidious. That was the dumbest move to make. If Biden was not going to run again, he should have made his intentions known over 2 years ago that he was not going to seek re-election, thus giving Harris an ample opportunity to participate in the primary and win it, an ample opportunity to build a strong coalition, an ample opportunity to run on an even playing field. She was doomed even before it was announced that she was going to take over. Her candidacy was doomed. Her enemies already had the leverage over her. And you all knew that they were not going to elect a black woman or Indian, whatever you want to call her, to the highest office in the land. Is there time? Yes, the Democrats must be organized. You have to reorganize. You have to re-strategize. You know, in other words, you got to get your act together and stop pussyfooting and stop playing around. Stop being a bunch of punkish cowards. Stop being afraid to open your mouths. Stop being afraid to speak out. Stop being afraid to stand up for the issue that you deem to be important. The issues that you should be fighting for is everyday working, poor, middle-class people. That's where the battle has to be fought. You got to get your behinds out in the streets and hit the pavements and pound the pavement so people know that you really care about them instead of sitting in your swank offices all the time. This is reality. I am pissed off that the Democrats dropped the ball. And you have to give credit to credit is due. The Republicans ran a better offensive campaign than the Democrats did. The president wasn't out there campaigning for her on the campaign field. When you nominate somebody else to take your place, you should be campaigning for them, supporting them, rallying up the base. While the U.S. economy has improved over the last 2 years according to standard economic measures, most Americans without college degrees, that's the majority, have not felt it. I know everyday people, everyday working people who are having a hell of a way to go. Look at the complexity of the neighborhoods. Let me piss off the Latino and Mexican community. These Latinos and these Mexicans who have set up their wares in their shops and their carts in black neighborhoods. There are nowhere the black stores in the black neighborhoods. Everywhere you go, you see them on the streets with their carts. They're so racist and bigoted, they don't even want to talk to you. You come into their stores, they act like they don't even want you there, but they want your money. They set up shop all over the place. They don't like to interact with nobody and talk to anybody. It's like a little conclave. These are the people who voted against Vice President Harris. Latino men, they definitely didn't like her. Latino women definitely didn't like her. And my black brothers, the majority of them, they voted against her for the dumbest of dumbest reasons. She didn't even incarcerate you and lock you up. You don't even live in California. When she was a prosecutor and attorney general, she did like any other prosecutor and attorney general would have done. I don't hear the outcry about when white prosecutors and white attorney generals violate black people's rights, fabricate evidence against them, lock them up, lie under oath, and get them umpteen years locked up in prison. I don't hear my black brothers crying out against the white prosecutors at all. So they wanted to make an example out of the sister. And the so-called stimulus check that was given out during the pandemic, that's because of the Obama administration. Whoever comes into office, if the economy is good, the incoming president takes credit for it. If the economy is bad, the incoming president has to take credit for it. The real median wage of the bottom 9% is stuck nearly where it was in the 1990s, even though the economy is more than twice as large now as it was then. Most of the economy's gains have gone to the top. This has caused many Americans to feel frustrated and angry. Trump gave voice to that anger. Harris did not. Now, that's another thing. Let's talk about anger. When Obama was running, he kept saying, well, they're angry. People are angry. Trump's first run in 2016, they said, well, white men are angry. White people are fed up. What were they angry about? Because a black man was president of the United States of America, and he won twice. That's what they were angry about. Their rage, their anger, their racism, their bigotry, their hatred for anybody black propelled Trump into office the first time. And you Democrats, you need to get your act together and you need to come back fired up. You need to, first of all, get yourself a good chairman of the National Democratic Committee. Get somebody who got some oomph and that knows how to articulate and fight. And when you come back, you better come back fired up. So you need to start thinking about the midterm elections that's coming up. During the midterm elections, you all have an opportunity to take control of the Congressional House. If you do it right. If you don't do it right, you're not taking control of the House. You've got 4 years to reorganize, 4 years to restructure, 4 years to find out what went wrong. You have 4 years to get yourself a good, viable candidate who can interact with people, a candidate that's believable, a candidate that's touchable, a candidate that can get out and walk among the masses of people and talk to them and don't be afraid. Forget about the college degrees. Forget about the elitist part of the Democratic Party. Forget about the billionaires that are in the Democratic Party. You better concentrate on everyday men and women. The brothers and sisters in the hood who don't have enough money for a trans pass. The senior citizens who don't have enough money to buy groceries. The senior citizens don't have enough good care workers to take care of them. The elderly men and women who are afraid to come out of their houses. These are the people you need to be fighting for. The average mother who does not make enough money on her job to be able to pay gas, electric, and rent in a dilapidated house or an apartment that's run by slumlords. And all they care about is taking the rent money. They won't fix up nothing. They don't repair nothing. They just want to make sure that they get their rent money. That's it. And they keep jacking up the rent because times are getting harder. What about these terrible schools that our children have to go to? You don't see a bunch of white cops and police in schools up in the suburban neighborhoods, but in the hood, you got metal detectors, gun detectors, got cops all over the place. They can't even learn. This is ridiculous here in the United States of America. Our children have no parks, no recreational facilities. They don't have any jobs during the summertime. And you wonder why y'all lost the election? Because you didn't care. Like I told the people in my neighborhood when they opened up the Harris campaign headquarters, I said, you are 2 weeks away from the election and you're just coming down here to open up a headquarters. Where have y'all been at? 2 weeks before the election, now you come into the neighborhood and you open up a campaign headquarters. I said, y'all should have been here from day one when she first announced her candidacy. You don't wait until 2 weeks before the election. Then you want to try to canvass a whole neighborhood. I said, you don't even know the neighborhood. You don't know the people in the neighborhood. And understand that the basic American, or the basic person in American, or bargain in American, used to be that if you worked hard and played by the rules, you'd do better, and your children would do even better than you. But since 1980, that bargain has become a sham. The wealthy, Democrats, abandoned the working class. They did. The wealthy, stuck up tight Democrats, they turned their backs on everyday working people. And what about all the people who lost their jobs? Even now, major corporations, CEOs and COOs are saying, well, if Trump is going to impose tariffs, ain't nothing but a tax. We're going to start laying people off right now. We got to start firing people because this is going to affect our bottom line. Democrats embrace NAFTA and lower tariffs on Chinese goods. They deregulated finance and allowed Wall Street to become a high-stakes gambling casino. They let big corporations gain enough market power to keep prices and profit margins high. That's another thing. You go into Walmart, they're talking about America's store. Everything is too damn high in Walmart. Everything. The taxes are crazy. Let me say it again. Everything is too damn high in Walmart. What sales? They ain't got no sales. Then they want to tax you, tax you, tax you. Men and women are working like slaves in Walmart. No benefits, no breaks. They get penalized for the littlest things. Walmart takes in billions of dollars. And the Democrats have let corporations bust unions with negligible penalties and slash payrolls. They bailed out Wall Street when its gambling addiction threatened to blow up the entire economy, but never bailed out homeowners who lost everything, and that's the stipulated fact. And for those of you who keep gambling all your money away in the casinos and lottery and everything, you know darn well that this stuff is rigged. It's rigged. Hell, I played the lottery, bought lottery tickets. It's rigged. You go into the casino, they got all the music and these scantily half-dressed women walking around trying to get you drunk and get you all juiced up so you'll spend all your money. And then you wonder why you're broke, because they're not going to let you win. They welcomed big money into their campaigns and delivered quid pro quos that rigged the market in favor of big corporations and the wealthy. Joe Biden redirected the Democratic Party back toward its working class roots, but many of the changes he catalyzed. More vigorous actions against monopolies, stronger enforcement of labor laws, and major investments in manufacturing infrastructure, subconductors, and non-fossil fuels wouldn't be evident for years. In any event, excuse me, let me turn this down. In any event, he could not. My phone's over there ringing and I lost. In any event, he could not communicate effectively about them. The Republican Party says it's on the side of working people, but its policies will hurt ordinary workers even more. Trump's tariffs will drive up prices. His expected retreat from vigorous anti-monopoly enforcement will allow giant corporations to drive up prices further. You mark my word tonight, y'all gonna suffer. Everybody's gonna feel it. As soon as he takes office, he's gonna do exactly what he said he's gonna do. Y'all may be laughing now and gloating now and partying now, but once Donald Trump is made president again, you watch and see what happens. You see the makeup of his cabinet, all white men. That's just the same as it was before. RFK Jr. went to the Democrats first. They didn't want him, so he went to the Trump campaign. And he turned against the Democrats. He wanted to work with Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign, and probably in exchange for something, they said no. So what did he do? He went over to Trump. This is a game you better know how to play it, or else you're going to get eaten up by the game. As in 2017, now listen, if Republicans gain control over the House, which they have, as well as the Senate, which they have, as looks likely they will extend Trump's 27 tax law and additional tax cuts. As in 2017, these lower taxes will benefit mainly the wealthy and enlarge the national debt, which will give Republicans an excuse to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, the objectives for decades. And you people voted for this. Y'all voted for this. You voted against your own interest. You tell me you don't know the difference between Obamacare and the Affordable Health Care Act? They're one and the same. You just gave it a different name, Affordable Health Care. It's still Obamacare. It's the same thing. Democrats must no longer do the bidding of big corporations and the wealthy. They must instead focus on winning back the working class, if you can, because black men have left the Democratic Party by the millions. So I don't think you're going to get them back. They should demand paid family leave, Medicare for all, free public higher education, stronger unions, higher taxes on great wealth, and housing credits that would generate the biggest boom in residential home construction since the Second World War. They should also demand that corporations share their profits with their workers. They should call for limits on CEO pay, eliminate all stock buybacks as was the SEC rule before 1982. And reject corporate welfare subsidies and tax credits to companies and industries unrelated to the common good. Democrats need to tell Americans why their pay has been lousy for decades and their jobs less secure, not because of immigrants, liberals, people of color, the deep state, or any other Trump Republican boogeyman, but because of the power of large corporations and the rich to rig the market and siphon off most of the company's gains. In doing this, Democrats should not retreat from their concerns about democracy. Democracy goes together with a fair economy. Only by reducing the power of big money in our politics can America grow the middle class, reward hardworking, and reaffirm the basic bargain at the heart of our system. If the Trump Republicans, I call them the Trump MAGAites, gain control of the House, they will have complete control of the federal government. That means they will own whatever happens to the economy and will be responsible for whatever happens to America. Notwithstanding all the anti-establishment populist rhetoric, they will become the establishment. The Democratic Party should use this inflection point to shift ground from being the party of well-off college graduates, big corporations, never-Trumpers like Dick Cheney, and various centrism to an anti-establishment party ready to shake up the system on behalf of. Now listen, what are we going to do? What are the Democrats going to do? Are you going to come to your senses? You're going to be reorganizing? Strategize? Build back up again? Stop running. Don't run from the press. Come on, be bold. Be men and women. Get your behinds out on television. Own up to the fact, hey, we lost the election. It is what it is. But the one thing you all better not do, because it's going to hurt you, do not vote what the Republicans want you to vote for. Oppose, oppose, oppose. Obstruct, 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 delay, delay, delay. Don't be so eager to get along with them because they're not eager to get along with you. They just want you to vote their way so it can make them look good. Heed the warning. Stop being so eager to make people happy. Some of you Democrats are too damn happy. You don't put up a fight. You don't stand up to your enemies. If you're going to win, learn how to win. When we were growing up, when we played Monopoly, we played to win. When we played chess, we played to win. When we played street football, we played to win. We weren't playing games to lose. You lost the election. And Democrats, you lost it, and you lost it big. Because they outsmarted you. And when you get outsmarted by your enemy has the leverage over you. Get in the fight. I tell you, like the coaches tells the football players, get your head in the game. Nobody goes to the Super Bowl to lose. Nobody goes to the Final Four to lose. Nobody goes to the NBA championship to lose. They go to win. You lost, but you can win again. But you got to get yourself together and find yourself a candidate that can win. So thank you all for watching. Kindly subscribe to Tyrone Bowman Live. See you in the next segment. Never surrender. Never quit.